Today's tutorial is about mixing audio in Premiere Pro. And the first thing to realize is that when we're playing our project, on the right hand side the master audio levels are displayed on these meters. And we want those meters to be peaking at around about -12 dB. As you can see on these clips, those levels are very low. So how do we actually alter the overall track audio? Okay, well, when we come up under the viewer panel, there's a panel called Audio Mixer. And as we can see, there are also meters here. So when we play it, you're getting the same meter levels read out as we have on the right hand side as we are in our project. The right hand side is showing the master levels and the other one showing the audio on each track. So the first thing we can do is actually alter the audio in track audio 1, which is where our ambient audio is. And as you can see, by pushing that up, it's altered the volume. We can actually hear the ambient audio in the clips, and the audio levels are actually getting to a much better level. Yeah? Okay, so the first thing we can do is alter the timeline volume, but that alters the volume for every single clip on the timeline. What happens when what we really need to do is alter the volume on a particular clip? Now when we click the triangle on an audio track, it drops down and opens up, and you can see there are these lines on each clip, and those lines represent the audio level for that individual clip. And by dragging those levels down, when we go to the audio mixer again, and we play the clip, we'll see that the levels of the first clip have now gone down. Yeah, but all of the rest of the clips that we altered are still at the level that we set by altering the overall track volume. This means that simply by dragging this line up and or down, we can alter the volume of an individual clip, and that's the first thing that we do for getting like overall levels across different clips, making sure that everything outputs at round about the same level. Yeah. However, what happens if we want to alter the volume in one particular part of a clip rather than the whole clip? For instance, what if we want to make the sound of this camera's flash going off more prominent in the audio mix, or in other words, make that louder than the rest of the clip? Well, the first thing we do is go to Set Display Styles and Show Waveform. And the reason we show the waveform is it actually shows us the individual peaks and troughs of the audio in each particular clip. And we'll actually need that to do the next thing we're going to do. The other thing we're going to need to do is drag these clips open as far as we can, so that we can actually see as much of the waveform as we possibly can. It's going to make it easier to work in. As we can see, this is round about the area where that action's happening. So we're just going to make this as big as we can by dragging this around and expanding the work area. Okay, that's about right. Now, what we need to do is increase the volume of just that little piece of waveform there. And we do that by using the pen tool. And we're going to put 2 keyframes, and it does need to be 2 keyframes, to the left of that audio, and then another 2 to the right of that audio. We then go to our selection tool, grab the center between those 4 keyframes and drag it up, and you see what we've done is created a fade up on the left hand side and a fade down on the right. In other words, we've increased the volume just of that flash, and that now pops out a lot better. So as you can see, simply by adding in those core 4 keyframes, we can actually drag that center section over that particular piece of audio either up or down until we're happy with where it is in the mix, which is something that we use either to make sounds pop out because they're significant to the story, or to remove unwanted audio. So we can actually do it in the other direction. Okay, having done that, having got a basic mix on the ambient noise of our clips on the timeline, let's have a look at adding some music in. So we've got our MP3 there, which we're going to double click, and you see it pops up in the viewer just like a clip of video. Okay, so this is the piece of music that I've selected to go under this. Now the first thing I want to do is the same as for any piece of video. I want to select an in and an out point. And we do that exactly the same way as we do with a piece of video, by scrubbing backwards and forwards, pressing I for in, scrubbing through to the end point that we want to use, and then hitting O. However, in order to put the audio onto the actual timeline, what we actually need to do is come underneath the clip to this little audio symbol, grab that, and then drag it and drop it onto the timeline where we want the audio to go. In this case, it's audio 3. We're now going to open that up, set the display size so that we can see the waveform, and then drag this one open so that we can actually see the waveform of the music. Seeing the waveform of the music is important if you're going to be cutting to music, so we can see where the beats are. In this case, we haven't dragged it to exactly the right place, so we're going to need to shift it, which we can either try and ripple delete, which is a control click and then a delete, or we can actually just grab the clip and drag it to the left until it's in the right place. Now let's play this back and see what the overall mix between the ambient and the music is. And as you can see, it's peaking at around about 12.5, which is where we want it to be. So that's actually not a bad mix at all. Yeah? Okay, so let's shorten this clip down. We do that by clicking the end of it, moving the cursor to the end of our edit. Okay, clicking the end of the clip and hitting E, and then that will just shorten it to the same length as the rest of the clips. And now when we go up to our audio mixer, right, we'll actually be able to see that our ambient sound is on track 1, audio 1. Our music is on audio 3, and we can alter the levels of that. So we can alter the balance between the two pieces of audio, and our master volume is on the right hand side. Fundamentally, altering track levels in the audio mixer, altering individual clip levels in the clip, yeah, and using keyframes to either bring little pieces up or down is how we mix audio in Premiere Pro.